Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Maximilian Moreau, and with me is my co-host, Philip Wilson.
I'm here this time.
He is here this time. All right. So we're going back to the STARFAUX stuff. So let's see where we left off. It's been 3 weeks, naturally, since the last time we touched this thing, and I didn't click the buttons. I'm switching. I'm like, hey, look at what I'm doing, except for you can't see it.
Look at what I can do.
God. That was from Mad TV, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That's a classic show. All right, so what do we have here? So I'm going to open up level 3 here. We've got our cool boss.
There's a tank.
Courtesy of one of our awesome viewers. And it is shooting us, and it does the burning thing after the fact. That's kind of cool. And
you take damage.
And you take damage periodically based on the damage timer that we now have as a centralized system, and we can actually shoot and kill the boss turrets now, which is awesome.
Sweet.
That's really awesome. Except for we have a little missing reference exception here. What's going on here?
The transform has been destroyed.
Yeah, that's likely. We did destroy some things.
But it's angry.
Why is it not clicking through to... Okay, so on the big boss, send big boss controller.charge laser. Okay, so that's because it's trying to charge the lasers even though we've destroyed the
reference to the transform itself, actually. So
what we're going to do is do a little null check on that, and that'll solve that problem. So, let's see, for each transform laser and lasers, that's our problem right there. I think that's the only reference to transfers. So we have, okay, so let's look at all our references. So we have a turret base reference, which we don't use anywhere. We have a cannon parent, which I think we don't use anywhere. Oh, we use it here. So cannon parent, rotation, but we don't destroy that, I don't think.
No, I believe the parent.
And so the lasers, the lasers are the problem. So lasers. So, if, actually we want to do it in here. So if laser does not equal null, then we do this. And actually, I may have mentioned this on the show before, but might as well mention it again. So you can actually just do this. A lot of people do this as a shorthand, because if you just have a single line if statement, that means the same thing as putting the brackets. I never do that, and most people who have been programming for a while never do that, for the reason that if you do come back to this and add a line to it, you might forget to put the braces around it, and then all of a sudden it will always do the second line and only conditionally do the first line.
Yeah, I always try to be explicit about what I do.
Yeah. So there's that, and then what else do we need? We need to do the fire laser cooldown.
Is it laser coroutine? What's that?
Laser coroutine. I'm just checking to see what else this does. So
there's for each transform laser and laser, is there?
Yeah. So we'll check to see if the laser so if laser does not equal null. What's nice about Unity is when something gets destroyed, it automatically sets all of the variables to null through
all the references
through some magic, and it's really nice and convenient. And laser cooldown, one more here. So if laser equals or does not equal null, then we do this. That should get rid of our null references. We might still have a couple of minor problems, but we'll see. Let's see if that fixes everything. So in theory, if we destroy one half of these things, it should continue to fire with the other half just fine. So I'm going to blow up one of these. There, and it's continuing to operate as you'd expect. Do we have any... We have no errors.
I don't see any.
So let's destroy the second one. Make sure it still works. Yeah, looking good.
Yep, that seemed to fix it.
So cool, very cool. So things we can do for this boss fight to finish it off. So we could have these ports shoot missiles,
That'd be kind of
We
neat.
could make it so that the boss becomes... We can't destroy the individual ports right now just because of the way that they're set up, and I'm not going to bother fixing that. They're one piece right now, so it's hard to just chunk off a particular piece. We could probably cover them up with another piece of geometry, but I don't feel like janking that solution right now.
I have a suggestion.
Oh?
The boss should be moving around.
Okay, you think it should like slide around, do some stuff? All right, cool.
Move forward, backwards.
All right, and yeah, we can do that. So okay, cool. We also want it to actually, like right now, if it shoots at you and you just stay still, you're fine. So we need a way to fix that. We can either do that with missiles that it fires at us, or we can actually make it sweep. We might do a combination of the two. And we need to actually have a death condition for our player. We've gotten, 13 episodes in, and still don't have, actually more than that, isn't it? I don't even know. I didn't put the number on the description yet because I didn't have time to look it up. But yeah, so we're gonna have to figure that out. So actually, I think player death would be a good thing to add right now.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's about time. I think it's about time to add some player death, and I want to do some sound work on this thing too at some point. Some basic sound work, but I might pre-do the audio for that, and I haven't had time to do that.
I think that would probably be a good idea.
So, what are we doing? We're gonna make the player character die. So, what script handles our health? It's probably this health manager thing here.
I would assume that's the case.
And I'm going to go ahead and make this into a prefab, because it probably should be one. And let's go into this thing and see how it works. Health manager. So, plug the transform health display, damage effects, damage player. If current health is less than or equal to 0, game over logic here. So this is, or at least lose life. So this is where we should have our logic. Let's actually have it so, even though it says health manager, we're going to have this handle lives too. So public int lives. Actually, I'm going to make it called initial lives.
Good call.
And you'll see why I'm doing this in a second here. We're going to be... So, we have... oh, yeah, this is actually a singleton. Sweet! I didn't know we actually did that right.
Neato.
So, we actually don't need... Yeah, initial lives is appropriate. So, let's do public float... No, private int.
Oh, we have a suggestion.
Current lives. What's the suggestion?
Judah says the laser should only be vulnerable at a specific time, like when not firing.
Think so? It's kind of interesting. Yeah, we could work with that.
Yeah.
We could work with that. That's something we can do. When not firing.
Yeah. So like when they're charging the lasers?
Yeah, we could probably work with that. I was thinking that it would make more sense if it was only when they were firing, but I don't know.
But then you could focus on
because they're more dangerous
dodging.
when they're firing.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll play with that. I like that idea.
But let's focus on death.
Current lives. So initial lives, I'm going to set this to like 5 or something.
That's a lot of lives.
All right, 3.
Oh, that's better.
And current lives, we will set in the start function here. We'll do. So this is just like what we did with the health. Current lives equals initial lives. And so now we should have that. Let's make it so that it displays them in some way. So I'm just going to do a really quick debug on that one. We're not going to make it fancy just yet. So
it's going to be a
void
number 3.
On GUI. And we're going to just do a GUI label, or GUI layout dot label. And we're going to just call it lives. And plus current lives. So now if we hit play on this, we should see in the upper left-hand corner, oh, we have a score up there that's already in that area. So
we need to move it down just a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm just going to cheat and do GUI layout.
Are you gonna do the
layout dot label? Whoosh. I am lazy. So that should move it down a line and make it nice. There you go.
So if any of you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, by the way, in the YouTube channel. I'm watching it.
All right.
YouTube has
And YouTube decided to not ban you this time.
Like,
good.
Say that I'm spam.
Yay. Phil's not spam.
Additionally, you can send Twitter questions as well. So I have a phone that beeps at me. It's really what it's good for.
Indeed. All right. So what do we got?
So we got lives.
So we have lives now. But
I don't think this
anything
thing
with
is
them.
strong enough. I also think it doesn't take enough hits.
Yeah, it doesn't. But
Yeah.
we're
But
we're working with it. Here, we can fix that. Here,
No,
let's
we're
fix it.
debugging.
No,
It's
let's fix
fine.
it. Let's fix that.
You don't want to make it too difficult
Parent.
while we're
All right,
playing.
module left. Here we go. Max health. Let's make it 50. And max health 50.
Yeah, I agree.
So now it's like, oh man, I have to do so much work, and then finally it's gonna die. Maybe
It's never gonna die.
Yeah,
There
that's
it
actually
goes.
pretty decent. That's actually more than what they would do on StarFauX.
This is true.
StarFauX, you remember the first boss on that one? You can get it before it does anything cool. You can just be like, it is
And
dead.
It's dead.
So, and when I say StarFauX, I usually mean the first StarFauX, not StarFauX 64. Although it very similar in the boss setups on those games.
I like StarFauX 60.
I like both those games. I actually like the flying sequence from Ground Fox or whatever that game was called. What was it?
Are you talking about Star Wars or Star Fox Adventures?
Oh no, that one.
That was
That's even worse. You mean Dinosaur
Dinosaur
Planet or whatever it was originally going to be before Nintendo's like, yeah, you need some brand power in this.
Yeah, just stick Fox McCloud in there and
Yeah.
have an R-wing section at the very end. It'll be all right.
And the very beginning, they did have one at the beginning, and they were actually decent sections. It was probably my favorite parts of the game.
And then it was just a Zelda-like collecting.
I was thinking
game.
of the Namco one. What was that one called? Star Fox, the GameCube one.
Star Fox. I want to say Assault.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
I think it's just called Star Fox.
But yeah, like
Assault.
every other level in that game is awesome, and every other level in that game is terrible. So.
No, Star Fox 64 was really good. I thought. And the first one was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, the first one is just incredible. I just was blown away by it, and it's so cinematic, and it's so 3D for Super Nintendo. It's definitely the most 3D Super Nintendo game. I don't know. Is that true? Yeah.
It is.
I mean, Vortex is pretty 3D.
There's Vortex.
And there's the
Stunt Race
Star Fox
FX.
2 never came out. Stunt Race FX runs at like 5 frames per second.
Yeah,
the
we're not
whole
worried
way.
about that.
I actually like that game, but it does not run very well. So, now that we've done that tangent of talking about games that no one has played or cares about,
Oh, that made me sad.
oh, well, some people care about it. Maybe the people watching this do care about these things. What are we doing? We're going to make the character actually die. So, if the health goes to... So let's start with a simple one. Let's just blow up the player. Let's just... game over logic. So... We're going to have him just explode. So, what's the best way to handle this? So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take the player, we're going to create an explosion effect, we're going to make the player disappear, we're not actually going to destroy the player, and then we're going to flash him in for another round, like maybe reset the position, but definitely flash him in.
Okay.
Or at least blink him in, something. And you'll just continue where you left off. We could do it where there's kind of a checkpoint system like the original Star Fox, but that's a little bit more work. And honestly, I feel like it's more fair when you can kind of power through. Although sometimes it may not be fair. Like even like Gradius 5, like you know what I'm talking about, where it's just like, oh man, that's 12 continues just
Oh, that's
on that one boss.
Oh, Gradius. if we're gonna go the Gradius route, Gradius also has the alternate problem.
Yeah, exactly, which is the checkpoint. Like
the checkpoint right before the boss, and you're like, I have no
no weapons. Yeah, but that's exactly. That's the thing. Like, if you have no checkpoint, then you definitely have no weapons, except for any if they're nice enough to give you options that drop in. Again, I'm getting off topic and talking. about games.
We're talking about games. We need to stop that.
All right. Give me a shout out if you guys don't like me talking about games.
Yeah.
Or if you do.
Yeah. Either way.
Just give us a shout out. Game over logic. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a particle effect. So I'm going to do an instantiate call. I'm going to instantiate. We're going to call it player def effect transform. Oh wait. So we can't do transform.position because this is in our manager. It's not in our player.
Correct. We actually have to pass through the player reference then.
So, yeah. Let's actually do this a little bit fancier then. Let's go into our player.
Reference to the player?
I think we can get the player because he's tagged. So that's what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tell the player to blow itself up.
Oh.
Is that necessary? What does that gain me? It gains me something. There was one reason I wanted to do it. Whatever. We'll just get the player reference.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah. Either way, it's going to work.
Yeah. So we want a game object, player equals... Wait, we already get the player at some point. So let's just get the player earlier. So we're going to move this line up to the top here. And so from here we can just take player, so we can just do game object, instantiate player def effect player dot position, dot transform dot position, and we'll just do quaternion dot identity again, which is just no rotation whatsoever. We don't care. And we'll create a new variable called player depth effect, public game object player depth effect. And then after this point, we're going to let's call it coroutine. We're going to do, well, not a coroutine. Let's invoke a routine. Let's do so player dot. So what is actually tagged as the player in here? Gameplay plane ship. So that's untagged jet. That's untagged jet model. That's the player. All right, and the jet model is not actually the model at all. The cube is the model.
The cube is the model.
We're good at this. So this is not going to work directly. We're going to have to get the child of it that actually represents the player model, or we're going to have a reference to the player model in the script. Actually, we can get the. So do these have? Oh, these have renderers. Dang it. I was hoping I could just do get components and children and just grab the mesh renderer. Oh, we can just disable the player. That'll work. That's fine.
Yeah, that would work.
So we'll just do player.enabled. Wait, no. Player.
Yeah, you don't need to create and destroy. You can just enable and disable.
Yeah. So what is the... What is it actually called? Set active.
Set active, yeah.
So player.set active false. And then we will invoke respawn player after I'm just going to hard code this for now, 5.0f. We should probably make that into a variable at some point, but 5 seconds is too long. 2
yes,
seconds.
It is.
5 seconds
is probably
5 seconds is an eternity. 2 seconds is right. 2 seconds is right.
It's like an eternity.
It allows you to enjoy the explosion. So, and so we're going to do void respawn player And all we're going to do is player.setActive equals true. And we'll just go with that for right now. So in our health manager, named player does not exist in the current context. That's right, because we need to get him. I guess since we're not destroying the player, we can actually get fancier here. Let's do it. Let's make the reference at start, and that way we don't have to search for it. That's actually better for efficiency. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference with the amount of objects that we're dealing with here. And so all we have to do is make it so this is referenced to a variable. So player, and we'll do private game object player. So that should solve our little problem. Warning, transform, rotate. Okay, we don't care.
Really?
It's a weird one.
Rotate around is obsolete, huh?
Evidently.
Interesting.
No one called me. Alright, so what are we doing? Player death effect. Let's just do the enemy death again. We can always add more effects later. I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the prefab. And hit play. And so now, when we go to 0 health, we should actually blow up.
Well, you should actually just disappear, right?
Well, there should be a little... Well, it's going to be hard to tell because you're already doing the player death effect when you get hit, but... Because we do instantiate that, it's just we're going to instantiate it twice, basically. There it is, and he's dead. And then he's back!
Oh, and he's dead because the life didn't refill.
And the life didn't refill, so he dies every time.
Death.
It's a cloaking device. Alright.
We also don't reduce the number of lives currently.
Yep. So we have to fix all those. And we also have a null reference exception because the boss is like, hey, where's that player we were dealing with?
That player you were talking about,
so,
maybe we should know where that is.
Yeah, so, which is interesting because I hate that, actually, about Unity. Oh no, I hate something about Unity. I wish that when you went for a reference to something, even if it's disabled, it would still show up in the references. It actually does not, and so it makes it kind of hard in certain scenarios. I actually think that's a poor decision, personally.
Yeah, that is...
But, like, it's almost impossible to find an object that's been disabled in the scene. Like, you basically have to have a reference ahead of time, or you have to keep a hierarchy that allows you to have a reference at any time. Like, if you have a master game object, you can reference things beneath that and stuff. But,
interesting. So
yeah.
the moment something's disabled, it clears the references of that object?
Well, it's not that it clears the references, it's just that you can't find it by tag anymore. Like, a GameObject.find doesn't find things, and you can't find... Like, they could fix it easily. Like, they could keep everything exactly the way they have it, and then just add, like, a Boolean to the find game object that allows... It's like search inactive game objects, and just default it to false, and then you can just set it to true if you need to find an inactive object.
Yeah.
And honestly, there should be a way to find... just inactive objects too, but I digress. So what we need to do here is we kill the player so we also need to reduce the lives by 1, so we can do that. I'm actually going to do that during the respawn, even though I know a lot of people would probably disagree with me on this one, but hear me out. I actually like it when the lives represents the lives that you have in reserve. So if it says 0 lives, you still have the one that you have going. And so the moment that your ship appears, it has been reduced from your reserve of lives.
Yeah.
Not everyone agrees with that. Some people think that when you die immediately, it should deduct the lives and then not later. And actually, I had a big argument about this on Proton Pulse once, and we ended up not going with my way. But and I'm not sore about that, but I'm not doing it here because this is my show. I get to do it my way.
But I agree.
Sweet, someone actually agrees with me on that. Yay.
Yeah, it's like the Mega Man heads.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like
That's how many Mega Man heads you have left. In reserve.
In reserve, not counting the head on your shoulders.
Correct.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to do lives, current lives, minus. We're going to set the player active, and we need to do a check here, check to see if we are out of lives at some point. We're not going to do it just yet. And we need to reset the player's health. So current health equals maximum health. Max health. So now if we hit play, we should get... I should probably lower my health for this, but...
Yeah.
Testing. There we go, he died.
No reference exception.
And then lives 2, yay, I came back. Though my health didn't refill. Why didn't my health refill?
Maybe your health actually did refill, but the...
oh, it's because we didn't update it.
Yeah.
So we did this wrong. I slapped myself on this one. We want to actually use restore health. And so we could actually use restore health. I'm actually going to be a little bit more robust and make it reset health, which does not take any arguments. And we just set current health equals max health, and then we update the displays as appropriate. Been considering actually making these into properties at some point because we haven't done a whole lot of property work on the show, but I'm not going to do that just yet. So let's do reset health as a function. So now it should actually set our stuff the way that we want it, and then we'll fix that null reference exception that's happening on the boss.
Nice.
Bullseye. Come on, kill me. Kill me. Alright, I died. Lost a life. Came back. My health is still not showing up right.
So you need to figure that out.
Health original Y scale. Huh. Current health divided by max health. So the current health should be max health. So this should be 1. Health display. Did it not compile? Alright, so I'm finally going to set our health lower. Let's do 2.
Nice.
Nice again. Nice is starting to weird me out.
Nice.
Alright. That still
didn't
work.
do it.
I definitely am getting the health back.
Yeah, but you're not. It's visually not updating it.
Why is that the case? So health display dot local scale.
I have no idea.
So where's health display dot original Y scale? Okay, it just gets the local scale. Huh. I would have expected this code to work, but since we know that it's maximum anyway, we'll just do that. And we don't have to do a lerp, we can just do max health color.
Lerp.
And let's just see if that magically fixes it.
Not to be confused with the slurp.
Oh, I know why it's not working.
You should share your findings.
So my findings are, when our health goes to 0, we disable the renderer on the health object.
Aha!
And so we have to make
sure...
Oh,
yes, because there was that sliver of...
Yeah.
There was that sliver
Yep.
of
it was to fix another bug, and
there.
it created this bug because we weren't expecting it.
And
so.
that is how bugs are created.
Exactly.
With the best intentions.
So now this should work gloriously.
So it's
So
down.
I'm dead, and we're
black.
back!
Yep,
and
perfect.
yeah, and it goes down again. Yay! It all works! Yay! Hooray! Alright, so now let's fix that null reference exception. So we can just double click on this, and it'll probably take us right where it's at. Okay, so it's like rotate towards the player. So what we'll just do is we'll just do if player dot equals or does not equal null, creepily look at the player. I like
Yes.
that. I'm gonna keep it.
That's awesome.
All right. So here we go. Creepily look at the player. I totally typed I typed the right thing. It just looked like the wrong thing. Alright, and so that should get rid of our little null reference exception problem, and hopefully it should recover and start tracking the player as soon as the player is back.
It's like, oh, I killed the player.
Cool,
Wait
yeah.
a minute.
So now, let's do one more thing. Let's clean it up so that you can't, let's clean it up so that you can't move the player. Because, like, if you notice, once I get dead here, I can actually move the player around while I'm dead, as if I'm still there.
Which I don't think is very desirable.
So let's make it so the player has some sort of death is dead thing. So where's the player? Ship movement. I don't know. What do we got? What do we got on this thing?
Player is the cube, but it's in the jet model, I believe.
The player's actually at this stage, but where is the actual ship? Has ship movement. Banksy. Did we do anything fancy that wasn't ship movement related in here?
I don't think so.
Nope. Why did we have these commented out? We should technically still have these. Alright, so we're not doing anything super fancy here. Wait, what are we even registering this for? I think we were playing around with something that I don't remember what we were playing around with there.
Some score stuff.
Alright, so let's create
obviously.
another script
It
for
looks
this.
like, at least.
So we need to have... No, it's in ship movement that we should have it. Let's... Yeah, we'll just put it in here for right now. So we'll do public bool
Ooh.
is dead equals false. And then what we'll do here is if not is dead, then we do all of this wonderful stuff. And finally, we so ship movement is not on the player here. So let's make it so that we can, we'll just make a void set dead bool
Not it.
dead.
Oh yeah, you have to say what the bool is.
So and all that'll do is just is dead equals dead.
So this is just going to be a function we're going to call from outside.
Yeah,
the script.
we're gonna broadcast a message to this. So we're gonna do that from our health manager. This way we don't have to have a reference. The message passing system is not always the fastest thing, but this will work pretty well for our purposes, and the amount of times that we're calling this is not going to be a performance problem at all. So what we're going to do is, since we already have a player reference in respawn player, actually in everything, we can do, so this is at a level above, so I need to do some reference work here real quick. Unity broadcast message. Let's see what this does. It doesn't do what you think it does.
Since we're actually calling the, since the player's never being destroyed, couldn't we just reference that script?
We could if that script existed on the player. It actually exists on a level above the player.
I know, but couldn't we create an object essentially in the script and use it as a custom one so we can have a reference to that?
Oh yeah,
I've
we
done
could.
that
We could do
before,
that. Oh yeah, we could totally do that. I'm avoiding it just because, it would work either way.
Okay.
I like to show kind of a variety of ways of doing it. It makes it seem kind of slapdash sometimes. The main reason that I just didn't immediately go to that is because Well, I guess we're not destroying the player, so we could get away with that. But it's because we have this thing as a... actually, I'm already kind of uncomfortable about one thing on this. This is a singleton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it can exist through multiple levels. And the big problem I have with this is we have a health bar display, which is referenced like we could do the player. And as you can see, the reason if we apply this prefab, this will always be bold, because this actually can't be stored in the prefab, because it's a reference to something that's in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of try to avoid those scene references if possible on things that are singletons or managers of any real type. And I didn't avoid it in that case because I wanted to just get something working. But yeah, so I'd probably do it this way on my own projects, is what I'm trying to long-windedly get at. So what I'm going to do is, so broadcast message is not what we want. Broadcast message sends to a object or its children. I think we ought to send message upward. Send message upward.
We also have another comment that says, instead of having the laser just disappearing, I think he's actually meaning the ship. It should ragdoll for a second and then explode.
Okay, we can do that.
Maybe by just activating a rigid body,
We
so
can
it just
totally
falls
do
from
that.
the sky.
We can totally do that.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
All right, so component send message upwards. Yeah, this is the one. So, and every ancestor of the behavior. So this is great. Messages will not be sent to inactive objects. So keep that in mind. All right, well, that's not a big deal. So we should probably have this actually marked as the player, except for we have organization problems in this project.
Yeah,
minor
that can
ones,
happen.
minor ones, but they're enough to get my hairs to stand on end on my arms a little bit. Let's just make this work first. So player's active, so we don't have to worry about that part, and we're just going to broadcast. So player.send message upwards. What did we call this? Set dead. Set dead. False. And what we actually want to do before this is set dead to true in here. And we should do it before we set player active, because otherwise it won't work like the documentation just told us. Which is something that we actually probably would have had problems with if we hadn't looked at the documentation, which is why you should refresh yourself on the documentation sometimes. So it probably would have thrown an error. Actually, I'm interested to see what it would do. Let's see what it would do. Let's go back and put this as here. Oh, we'll just keep both of them. Who cares? We'll delete the one that we want to delete in a second here. Set dead does not exist in the current context. Obviously not, because... Oh, wait. Send message upwards. I think this will work, hopefully. Value. Okay, so we can do...
Method name of value.
Yeah, and then the options. Is there one that's just the value? Yes, there is. Okay, perfect. So this should work once we get rid of that. And same thing down here. We need to put this into quotes. And we put this as a comma. Just the way that this function's written. So let's see what happens when we get deaded. Alright, null reference exception. Why?
The spawn object.
Okay, that's not what I was expecting to happen.
That's not at all what I was expecting to happen.
Alright, so that didn't quite work. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this problem. So it was completely silent, so it was good that we looked at that documentation, because we would have been scratching our heads for a while. That really should work even if things are inactive.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially considering there's so many things you can do when they're... So I'm still able to move. So why is that the case?
So the message didn't get received for some reason.
Let's find out if that's the case. So we're going to go to ship movement, set dead. We're just going to be like debug.log. I'm dead. Even though it actually might be alive in this case, but at least we'll get a message.
Yeah, if it gets there.
Yes. So I'm dead. It got there. I'm dead. It got back. So the problem is our check on is, well, wait. Why is that? Huh? Huh. Am I viewing this wrong? Alright, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm still able to move. Able to move just fine. Alright, let's fix this null reference exception first. So spawn object on trigger. Instantiate player.transfer.position. Oh, it's because we wait. So this might not be exist, so let's just do if player does not equal null. We'll do this. Oops.
Good old shift tab.
So let's try that again. So get killed, and okay, well, we got rid of the null reference exception, but it's still not working. Odd. Is dead equals, oh, I reversed these. Set dead, it's dead now. And now it's not dead. Okay. Now it'll probably work.
Yeah.
And boom, it worked. I can't control anything. Yay. And then I come back and get hit immediately because of it. So that's kind of lame. So we might have to have some invulnerability, and we also should probably reset the player position. So let's see. What can we do to reset? So are we actually moving through the scene on this one?
I don't believe so.
I don't think we are. But we can't make that assumption because in other levels we might be moving through the scene. So what would be the best way to handle this? So the ship moves. So ship movement. So we'll set its local position. So the ship's local position. Oh, this will be perfect because the local position is 0. And that should be the same even if the gameplay plane has like cruised around somewhere. So let's just try moving it some random direction and see where the ship is at. Yep, it's still at 0. So let's move it back. Command Z, or Control Z if you're on Windows. And that's undo in case you guys don't know that one. I think that's a pretty common one to know though.
Yeah.
So what do we got? So all we have to do is just reset the position to 000, which is what we're going to do. So health manager at this point, before we disable the player, we're going to do player.transform. Oh, wait. Yeah, let's actually just do another send message. Reset position.
This one didn't even need to have a value.
Thingy. Yeah, good call. We'll just, I don't even know why I'm copying and pasting that. Void reset position. And all we gotta do is transform.position equals vector 3.0, and that's actually wrong because that's the global position we want dot local position. Transform dot local position.
Which is a different position.
And so this should work in all of our levels just fine, theoretically.
Because it will always go back to its local position.
And bam! And you can see the camera snapped, which is, you know, it's a little snappy, but whatever. But it's better than being able to control, and it's better than spawning in the same place. We should probably reset the rotation on this too. So, where's the rotation get set? It's in bank Z, I think. Yeah, this is our fancy rotation stuff.
And this is how bugs get created. So when you don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
So we'll do.
Why is my camera moving off to the side?
Reset rotation. And we'll just do transform dot local rotation equals local rotation should take into account. So yeah, we can just do quaternion.identity. And then we will add to our health manager one more call here. Reset rotation.
No, it should reset the rotation position.
So now if I'm like all cruising around when I die. Okay, come on. It looked like it still kind of did something. Wonder why.
It looked like it just kind of turned back to normal once it was reactivated.
Alright, so let's see what this bank Z actually does. So, do we adjust, so let's just see what our, so it has rotation values, so that's definitely where the rotations are happening. And they definitely didn't get reset to 0.
No.
Reset rotation, did I spell it right in both cases?
Yeah, that is always the... It looks like you spelled it right.
Mm-hmm. It does look like I spelled it right. Oh, wait. Let's look at this. So this is... No, this is upwards from the player, so send message upwards should still be working just fine for us. Let's see if it's working. Debug.log. Rotation resetting.
I couldn't tell.
It did say it. Okay, so I think we're fighting something else here. So we have probably some rotation variables
That you need to clear, I'm sure.
Doesn't look like we do.
I'm sure there's something in there.
Alright.
Did something about the time variable and all? No.
So what do we do at the end here? Time, delta time, coroutines, button down. So here we go. So transform.rotation equals new quaternion. Transform.rotation dot Euler angles, Euler angles. I mean.
Maybe we could get some print statements in here if we want to try to figure it out.
Yeah, let's just look at it
So
one
we
more
can
time
see
real quick
variables.
first. So
Or you could just turn on debug mode, I guess, in the... It's definitely maintaining that rotation. It's interesting.
alright, so alright, so let's check to see if the... So one of the advantages of sending messages is, you remember how we have the health manager send some messages to, like, set dead equals true? We can, in lieu of a centralized management system, so we have the ship movement thing, and it has kind of the is dead variable. We optimally, organizationally, you'd probably want to have some sort of player manager that actually has this information in it. And we kind of wrangled ship movement enough that you make it into a player manager, and then it would make sense to have it here. But we can also do something fancy where we just have this variable in here as well, and we can have the exact same function in there, and it should get called along with the wait, where's oh, it's not in help manager, it's ship movement. Set dead. So this is another option on ways to communicate state between objects. So that's not where I wanted this. Spawn on trigger is not at all where I wanted that.
No.
I wanted it in bank Z. So we can be... Oh, I don't want this in there either. Whoops. Well, actually, that's not too bad to zoom in a little. I don't know why it did that, but...
That's interesting.
Normal size, alright. I'm going to zoom in one, actually. So I usually like to do that, but it doesn't really save that setting. I need to actually go in and like wrangle all of the settings from MonoDevelop at some point and make it happy. So
MonoDevelop can't be happy.
It can't be happy? Yeah,
No.
that's probably true. Private bool is dead. And then we're going to just paste in the set dead. And then finally we're going to check to see if so if not in barrel roll.
Oh yeah, we can barrel roll in this game.
So if
That's
not in
pretty
barrel
awesome.
roll and not is dead. Let's see if that fixes anything. So we get shot and no.
It still did it.
Huh. Is it saying I'm dead twice?
I don't think you're double dead, are you?
It should be saying dead twice now because both of them printed, but I'm going to not collapse things so we can actually see it. I'm dead, good. And then it'll say I'm dead again because it says it when it comes back to life too. So
Because you're just passing it the true or false variable.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm not checking that in the debug log at all. So so that's not where the problem is causing.
No, I'm sure there's an update loop that's causing it.
Alright, so let's see what else we got on here. Jet model, crosshair. No, this looks like it. This looks like the one.
Yeah. Yep.
Ship movement. What was there something else that we needed to do on this episode that someone had asked about, or
Ragdoll
oh, the Ragdoll thing? Yeah, I want to do that. We can do that.
and vulnerability on lasers.
Vulnerability on lasers. What do you mean?
Like having the person or the enemy boss only being vulnerable during certain states.
Okay, that we're not going to do on this episode, definitely. But
we could easily
we
turn
can probably
on
do the
Ragdoll.
Ragdoll thing real quick. I just want to see if I'm going to give this one more quick look see, just see if we can figure out what's going on here. So transform.local rotation equals quaternion identity. You would think that would do it. So, oh, is this actually in ship movement? This is in ship movement. It's not in Banksy at all. This is just for the rotation. Okay.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
We should be resetting this one anyway, too. But, so it's in ship movement. So...
You should reset the rotation there.
Weird.
It's the rotation there at the
Yeah,
bottom, I believe.
yeah. So we just need to do it in here as well. So let's just add this function to our ship movement, and that should solve the problem. Maybe. Actually, it might. Yeah, it should. This should do it. I think this is going to do it. Well, boom, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to try and get in a more extreme angle here. I want to try and get... There we go. Solid.
Yep, that was the problem.
All right, yay. So let's make it so it ragdolls and then blows up. So what we're gonna do is health manager. So instead of it exploding here, we're going to tell it to explode. Okay, so instead of invoking respawn player, we're going to invoke explode. And we'll do it 1 second after the fact. And then
should
we're
also
create
move reset
void
position and rotation.
Explode. Yeah, probably. We're probably going to move a lot of things into here.
Yep.
So, and at the end of explode, okay, so we're basically going to do all of this and explode. Although set dead, actually, we need to do earlier. So set dead we want.
Yeah, we want to keep setting it to dead. That's not an issue. We just don't want to reset the position or rotation.
And we don't actually want to do the player death effect just yet either.
I agree.
Alright, so this should do it. So now, so we set dead so that we can't control it anymore. And then we can, so this thing, does it have on the player itself, we have our rigid body, perfect. And we can just set is kinematic, so player dot is, no, dot rigid body dot is kinematic equals false. And then at this point I'm going to go ahead and set it to true here. True. Actually, we should do that before we do the resetting of the positions and rotations, just in case. Probably doesn't make a difference, but
yeah, you never know.
And then at the end here we want to do respawn player. And we'll still do 2 seconds on that one for right now. So let's give it a shot and see what happens.
Theoretically, physics should just take over.
Alright, so it didn't quite
work.
Do what we wanted to do. Alright, so let's see what we did here. Oh, I didn't actually call explode. That might be part of the problem.
That would be a problem.
Invoke explode 1.0. Though is kinematic was set to false and it didn't fall.
Which
so
is
that's
a little
worrisome.
Worrying, yeah.
Let's see what we got on this rigid body. Use gravity is not on, so let's turn that on.
We might actually be smart to turn that on in the script, I'd say.
It shouldn't matter, because it doesn't do anything if you're if you're kinematic.
Oh, fair enough. Oh. Felt like a brick.
It did fall like a brick. So
Whoa.
let's. Oh, now we've got a problem. Whee! All right.
That might be a problem with use gravity.
I don't think it's a problem with use gravity.
It's a problem with where it was positioned when it deactivated.
So, when are we resetting? Okay, so we should actually do the resets. We'll do the resets after setting the player active, I guess. Alright, let's give that a shot. Nope. Still pretty messed up.
Where's the player at? Like, it didn't go back to its zero
It's
position.
because the jet model is not the one that we're resetting the position of. We're setting the position of all these other things. So we also additionally need... Okay, so the jet model is... this one has a little rotation in there just to mess us up.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally. Alright, let's just do it. So at the end of this we need to... So let's do these ones at explode time. And then let's do a player dot transform dot position, local position equals vector 3.0, and player dot transform dot rotation, local rotation. This one's a little trickier. We're going to do this as
this explicitly said
equals what?
Is that 90.
Yeah. So we would need
9000, right?
yeah, except for we can't just set it to 9000 because it's a quaternion. So
dirty quaternions.
Quaternion dot. There we go. I think we can just feed in our Euler coordinates here and it will work. So now we should be fixed back up. So it falls, it blows up, and it's back, and it works. Yay. All right.
That was it.
We fixed it. Yay.
Back.
So it doesn't fly forward because it's not actually flying forward. And actually, truthfully, that's actually how things would fall, assuming that it was going at a set velocity like this magically going right now. But it doesn't look right, so we might want to actually throw some. Let's just do one more thing on this. I know we're a little bit over time, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and just apply a force to this thing. So when we set it is kinematic equals false, we're going to now player dot rigid body dot add force. Player dot transform dot forward times 100.
That's a lot of forward force.
Actually, it's not. It's very little. Probably won't even register.
It seems like a lot of.
We're probably going to set it to 1,000 or 10,000 unless we use a different force mode. See? Did you see how little that was? Yeah. Let's change the force mode though. So force mode velocity change. So this should make it go. This is probably too much now because it's going to basically set it to go 100 meters per second the moment that. Yeah, that was definitely too much. It would. Did you see it? It was way off in the corner there, so
yeah,
that was pretty sweet. So yeah,
10.
let's just do 10. And that's why force mode matters.
That's pretty neat.
Cool. So we have it working now. So that's awesome. It kind of goes in the direction that the player's facing at the time. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it's colliding with the geometry. That's the problem. It's also getting collision data from the lasers. So
that makes sense.
So the lasers. How are we doing the lasers?
The lasers are constantly moving forward or towards the camera.
They're using their triggers. That shouldn't apply a force to the player. We're gonna leave it as this for right now.
We won't worry about that one right now.
So I'm gonna hit save, which I should have been doing periodically through the show.
But we weren't.
And we'll switch us back to what are we calling it?
Main screen.
Maybe just cam. Actually, just the face. Why not?
Oh, just the face.
Thanks for joining us. If you want to ask any questions, please feel free to email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Dracfire.
You can tweet me if you want to. It's at Magma Lemur. You can also send me emails if you want to. That's Philip@protosoftworks.com. Additionally, donate to the show.
Yes.
Be a cool person.
Yep.
Donate to the show.
Be a cool person. Donate to the show. Get goodies. I don't have the tiles yet done. I need to actually get on Justin on that. But hopefully that will laser out nicely and look really good, and it'll be better than not having anything because we don't have a source for those stone ones anymore. And hopefully people won't be too disappointed. I actually like the new ones better than the old ones. Quite honestly, they're also a little bit more expensive, but not. It's not going to break the donations, obviously.
Not going to break the bank.
What else?
Yeah. I made the game one time.
Oh, yes. Phil. Buy Phil's game. Automation.
That's Robot Alone now.
Oh, Robot Alone. Dang it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My apologies.
You don't have to apologize.
So Robot Alone, formerly known as Automation, but it is Robot Alone, and it's awesome. And I have a indie speedrun game called Focus Blast. Look it up on the indie speedruns page if you can find that. I might put a link in the description or something. And vote for that if you can. If you have an Escapist account, you probably don't because their site is honestly painful, but maybe you do. You might have one because you want to watch Yahtzee. Like that's generally the only thing that I think people actually go to the Escapist for, which is sad because I actually really liked the magazine back when it was kind of actually a magazine. But whatever. Thanks for hosting Escapist. I shouldn't be complaining about a competition that I'm in that you're hosting, but whatever. I talk too much. You guys have a great night.
Have a good night.